That's all I've got. We've got Coach Fitz. We'll have our four captains in here after that. Without further ado, Coach.
Yeah, thanks, Paul. Good morning, and happy football season to everybody. It's a great time of the year, and like every school in the country, our guys, myself, our staff, we're excited to get the season underway. It's great to be in game week. We've got a great honorary captain this week. Looking forward to Darren Ravel being here with us. Great friend of mine, great friend of our program. It's hard to find a more passionate Wildcat. You know, he's definitely in the top 10 as far as passionate Wildcats, and looking forward to seeing him this weekend, and I'm sure he'll have a great message for the squad. Paul mentioned our four captains will be in here after I'm done, and incredibly proud of those four guys. You look at the careers that they've had. Justin, I think it speaks for itself, and to see the leader that he's become and the man that he's become has been really spectacular. Same thing with Clayton, a guy that's going into his fourth year, played a ton of football for us, and had a lot of success, 17 wins as a starting quarterback. I think the Manning camp really helped him this summer from a leadership standpoint. I think he learned a ton. Defensively, Tyler Lancaster is a young man that there's a reason why he was put in the number one jersey by his teammates. He's absolutely the Wildcat. He represents everything that our program is all about. And then to see the maturation of Godwin, he had a great talk to the squad earlier in training camp, and talked about how he's matured as a player, film study, preparation, things of that nature. Those four guys were runaway captain vote winners when the players elected that last week. Guys have had a good camp. They came in good shape. We've pressed them hard. We've got a huge challenge in front of us here in the opener. Nevada's got a huge, I think, advantage against us. New head coach, new coordinators. They obviously know a lot more about us than we know about them, and so we'll. As always, this is going to be my 12th opener. You have to plan to adjust, and we'll be having quite a few contingency plans for what we think we may see, and then what we're going to have to do to adjust if we see different things. But excited for the season. Look forward to hopefully starting faster than we did a year ago, and looking forward to getting this thing started. So with that, how about some questions?
If you'd like to ask a question for the benefit of our cameras, please get the wireless mic from Preston on your right or Mitt on your left.
Pat, you have three true freshmen on you, two deep. Can you speak to what they've done to thrust themselves into that position?
I think like everyone, they had a great summer, and they came in ready to compete, and that's, I think, like every program in the country. When you've got competition, it allows you to have the best players to be able to go out there and earn a job, and that's what those guys have done. So, I think there's more than that are close, not only true freshmen but also redshirt freshmen. But we'll see how things progress. It's a long year, and from a competitive depth standpoint, as we start the season, I like where we're at.
Pat, you said that the Manning camp helped Clayton a ton in terms of leadership. How do you see that?
Yes, I think there's a lot of similarities. Both men are devout Christians and men of faith. It's not a some of the time thing. It's an all the time thing for both men. I think Clayton was able to really, just learn from wisdom, from experience, from a guy who not only had amazing success and Hall of Famer, and you can argue the greatest quarterback of all time, but obviously the success he had in college. And so to be able to, I think, paint a picture of what he did and how he did things, there wasn't that big of a change for Clayton, but I think maybe even more importantly solidified how he's gone about his leadership style, and I think my perception is it's given him great confidence.
Where do you see the biggest growth in Clayton from 3 years ago when the first time started?
3 years ago? Oh, it's night and day. I mean, it's totally different. I mean, you're a freshman, starting quarterback. I mean, your eyes are, as wide as they can be, and you're just making sure you get the snap, to now where there's no doubt this is his offense and his team. I mean, it's just the maturation of a quarterback. It's completely different. It's been fun to watch.
Fitz, you did a lot of shuffling on the offensive line in camp, and are you happy with where things are right now? And is it going to continue, people moving around through non-conference or something?
I don't think I've got that much intelligence to have that type of plan. Maybe Kush does. He's a University of Chicago grad. But, we're going to play the best five guys. And does that mean we play 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10? I don't know. It's going to play itself out. I mean, tomorrow's practice is really important. So it's Wednesdays and Thursdays. I mean, this isn't something where you set a depth chart and then you say, okay, we're done. Here we go. Let's just move forward. That competition is going to be ongoing, so we can get the right 5 guys out there every snap. And I think there's a lot of guys that are in that mix.
Coach, you've officially got Charlie Cabander starting at kicker. This is the first time you've had a true freshman starting at kicker, and what is it? Is it going to be tougher with the true freshman than it would be with a more experienced guy?
Well, again, go back to the answer I had with the quarterback, right? Anytime you're a freshman, things are pretty wide-eyed and things of that nature. We've put Charlie in a lot of situations in camp, through a standpoint of trying to create crowd noise and distractions and, things of that nature. He's been really consistent. I thought off of high school video he'd have an opportunity to come in here and to compete. And, obviously he's won the job as we start the season, and we'll see how things progress as we move forward. But was really impressed with the way he handled things here through training camp.
You had high expectations for your secondary going into camp. Have they fulfilled those expectations to this point?
Well, leadership is in a really great place. Kyle Cairo is just as committed as I've ever seen him. I was really impressed by Kyle this offseason, and then, as he performed in camp. With Montre and Godwin, you would think they were redshirt freshmen that have never played before with the effort level they gave during training camp. I thought they were outstanding. And it's great to get Keith back out there. He, we were kind of chuckling a little bit. He hasn't played since the Tennessee game. You kind of lose sight of that a little bit. Marcus McShepard's had a great camp. Jared McGee's had a really solid camp. I mean, the depth there is pretty solid, and I look forward to seeing how that progresses. But yeah, they're in a good place.
Is there much of a difference between the 1s and the 2s at wide receiver, or is that kind of still a rotation and we're going to see a lot of guys like Jalen Brown and Charlie Fessler, Jelani Roberts?
Yeah, I think, again, similar to the O-line answer, when guys are close, you're going to see a lot of them play. And, I feel pretty solid about that group out there. Some guys have not played a lot, and so we'll see how they progress in the plays that they make, the physicality they play with on the perimeter as the season unfolds. But, again, I think we've got pretty solid competitive depth out there.
Coach, so you talked about Tyler Lancaster earning the number 1 jersey earlier. Can you just talk a little bit more about what it means to you, the number 1 jersey, and how he exemplifies it?
Well, it's a young man that embodies everything our program is about, from an attitude standpoint, from a work ethic standpoint, embodying our values on a daily basis, and not only doing that for himself, but more importantly, being that type of person to his teammates and representing our program at that type of level. And that's what Tyler has done since the day he got here. He's been an impact player. He's overcome injuries. He's overcome challenges at home. And it just seems like it makes all those make him stronger and stronger. And he's been a joy and a privilege to coach and to be around, and looking forward to one more season with him. I mean, he's just a joy and a treat to be around. He's kind of a throwback. He loves football and loves everything about it. And he's in a world that he gets double teamed about 75% of his life. And to see the way that he takes that on and embraces it is pretty special.
Pat, they've been introducing the new food here that's going to be at the stadium on Saturday. With television, every game's on television now. How important is it to get fans out and getting fans excited, not only about football, but the whole experience of being at the stadium? Yeah,
no question it's important. You look at the fan experience, and we're always trying to improve it every single year. It looks like you guys are going to eat well. Good for you. I mean, I'm going to be working. They won't be in the press box? Oh, all right, well, way to go, Paul. That would be Paul Kennedy's fault, not mine. I would have given it to you, but, at any rate, you can maybe go on a little scavenger hunt before, I guess, kickoff and get some stuff. Lou, you'll get some stuff done, won't you? No doubt. And, right, absolutely. No question, it's important. And as we continue to, move forward in all of our discussions and what we do with Ryan Field, the fan experience is going to be paramount at the top of the list to make sure that, our fans have a great experience. I know what I control. That's the product on the field, right? And, I trust in the leadership of our administration to start moving the pieces of the puzzle around to the best of our ability to make Ryan Field a great fan experience for all of our fans. Yeah, I think the front four's got a lot of depth. It's got a lot of experience. I was really impressed with the way that they competed throughout camp. And, I think again, you're hearing a theme, but I think we've got solid competitive depth up there. Thought Warren Long really kind of meshed well this summer and really transitioned well into linebacker. And I think his confidence is where it was when he left running back. When he left running back, he was a very confident guy because he had production and played well. And now I think it's there again, to see that. And then Blake Gallagher, I think, has really proven that he can play at this level as a true freshman, also at linebacker. So, that group's got pretty solid competitive depth. Again, project to be a beautiful day on Saturday. And, watching, I guess we have a new week called Zero Week, I guess, in college season. So I watched some games on Saturday, and, it looks like some teams wilted in the heat. So, you've got to be prepared early, especially to play a lot of guys.
You kind of alluded to this at the beginning. New coach. Are you facing a team that's playing new systems on offense and defense? Can you speak to some of the challenges that poses for you in preparation?
Yeah, Dave, it's a big challenge. We've got to try to, put together a puzzle without having a picture, if that makes sense. When the three boys are doing a puzzle at home, they usually put the box up to see what it looks like, and that's usually the video you have from the previous year. So you got to look at Nevada from a personnel standpoint, from a year ago to see, their young men and how they played. And then you got to study, what we project based on the coordinators that were hired, in all three phases to try to get a glimpse and a snapshot into what we think they may or may not do. But, this isn't the first time we as a staff have gone through this. I think if, this is our 12th opener, I think this has probably happened 9 or 10 times where we've had this challenge. So you got to spend more time. It's basically double the work. And then you just get a plan to adjust. And, we've had to do that before, and we'll have to do it again on Saturday.
Fred Wyatt is going to start on Saturday. His first start, I think. He played a lot of tackle last year, and he's going to be listed at end to start against Nevada. How is he? What has he shown you throughout camp? And
yeah, well, I think it's more than just camp. I think he's earned that role this entire offseason. I think he's a guy that's got a great football pedigree. His dad's a coach. He's from a football family. He's battled injuries earlier in his career, and now to see him get an opportunity to get out there and start, excited for him with that. Again, going back to that same philosophy, we're going to play our best players every play. He's earned that starting job. He put himself into that role, and look forward to him taking the next steps in his career. But he's a guy that I think is put on great size, great strength. And you look back to kind of what we were able to accomplish a year ago with moving CJ, to the outside. We really liked what we got out of that. And, Fred, we talked to him about potentially embracing that role in the offseason, and he's done a really good job with it. Well, again, I thought we had really good size and a guy that could control the point of attack, someone that was physical, and gave us an opportunity on both sides of our edges, to be able to be physical at the point of attack, and that's what we got from CJ a year ago. And we'll have our tweaks and our changes and things of that nature. But Fred's earned that, and look forward to seeing it progress.
Are you in the program where you thought you'd be further than you thought you would be?
Right.
Or still, I know every year is its own thing.
Right.
Every adult's business, but
Yep.
if you can look back and look to what you've got now.
Yeah, right. No, I'm a lot more gray. I mean, there's no doubt about that. It's just night and day, quite frankly. You take over in just as difficult of circumstances as you could ever imagine. To where we're at now is just night and day. It's just totally different. And you're right. Every year, every team is different. And this group, I think, used the momentum from the bowl win into the off season, and that went all the way through training camp. Leadership changes. You have 20-25% of your squad graduate every year. So there's quite a bit of new every season. And I would say if you were to ask the guys that are fifth-year seniors, I think we're a different program today than we were 5 years ago. in their perspective. And to me, that's my focus is the player and the student athlete experience. And are we doing everything we possibly can to help these young men develop in all aspects of their life? And then we win football games because of that, and not having, I think, the roles reversed and just be totally focused only on football and not focused holistically on developing your young men to be ready for life. And so I think we're in a great place on the field. We haven't won a championship, and that's the driving force. We've been close. We've won bowl championships. We've been in a lot of great bowl games and played some of the more entertaining games maybe in program history, but to get over that next hurdle is the next step for our program. So incredibly motivating, and it's one of those things that, again, is a culmination of everything you add up each week. It's something you talk about in training camp. You pull that drawer out and then you close it, and then you refocus on what the task is at hand. And that's obviously Nevada for us this week. So guys, I think especially this group, they've shown a lot of focus. I've liked their discipline and practice. I can't think to one day this camp that I've had to be the leader. They've handled that, and I think it's again a product of their experiences. So look forward to seeing how things unfold.
You've got a bunch of Texas guys and some guys from the Houston area. How are they doing given the events?
Yeah, well, our thoughts and prayers, David, are our guys. Not only our guys that are currently on the roster, but we've had quite a few Houstonians on the roster to their families. At least in the immediate, our guys that are currently on the roster, I've had a chance to talk to all of them, and it sounds like all their families are doing as well as they possibly can, and everything is in a positive place as we sit here today. We've got great relationships with the high school coaches and the high school programs down there, and not only in Houston but in the entire state of Texas. And our thoughts and prayers are with those communities. To me, what's been really cool to watch is just that whole region of the country coming together. When we pop on social media today and people are trying to rip our society apart, to see that type of camaraderie and love and willingness to help those in need and your neighbor is something that's inspiring to me, and it's been really impressive to watch. So, hopefully they can get through this week here and then, get in the process of getting that wonderful city back up and running, which I'm sure they will.
Shifting gears, you only have 8 offensive linemen listed on the 2 deep, with Hance listed as the backup left tackle and then Butler as at the 2 guard positions on the second team. Is there something behind that? Yeah, that's all.
Yeah, I mean, even if there was, I wouldn't tell you. Yeah, I mean, no, I mean that's. I'm glad you guys are reading that stuff. It's good to see. Good job, Paul. No, I mean that's as we sit here today. That's where we're at, and then we'll see how practice goes. Again, I'll remind you very vividly, and Louis, you've been here with me for a long time. That's a starting point for the week, as always. So I reserve the right to do what we need to do on Saturday to win, period. So you can come ask me Saturday after we win, well, why, on Monday, you'll be wasting your time. You'll be wasting your time. Louis, that would be a great thing for you to do. Nice study, analytical study. Depth chart Monday compared to performance on Saturday. Okay, I'm telling you, that's why I think it would be a great study. At least I'm giving you a depth chart. You're welcome. And where they're from, right?
There's a roster in there.
Yeah, and what year they are? All right, there you go. I mean, that's. We only get 1 week to do this. I mean, we're all knuckleheads as head coaches. You guys know that.
I got a question. You got the Miller brothers, that defensive tackle on the second team there. Is it difficult to tell them apart? Are they very different? Are they similar? What's it like in there?
They're very similar from a standpoint of work ethic and attitude and ability to play the game. I mean, they've got high motors, very physical players, high football IQs. It was kind of a unique situation, as you know, Louis. Alex came last year for summer school, and then Sam shows up for, the start of the winter quarter. So they were only apart for the football season, even though they're in different classes. So kind of a unique situation. Someone that did not have a brother, I can only imagine how cool that is for those two guys, not only to maybe have that short a time away from each other, but also now have an opportunity to play together. And then, we've had other brother combinations, as you're aware, but very, very rarely is it the same position. This might be the first time, if I'm not mistaken. Maybe I'm wrong. I don't know. We've had a lot of brother combinations. We've had guys on the same side of the ball, but I think it's going to be a really neat experience for those guys. Is it easy to tell them apart? Yeah, absolutely. I mean, they're different guys. They've got different personalities. But very, very thankful that they're both in our program. Thanks for running my point, Paul. Yeah.
Anything else for Coach? All right.
All right, thanks so much. Appreciate everyone. Go Cats. Thanks.
Clayton, Fitz said that the Manning camp helped you a ton in terms of leadership. I presume you agree with that. How did it help? No.
You said how did it help?
How did it help and how's it manifest?
Yeah, I think Peyton, Eli, Archie a little bit, but a lot of Peyton and Eli talked a lot about handling teammates and specifically handling teammates when things are going wrong. And, they gave very practical ways, gave different stories of how they've handled teammates and how to handle teammates. Because I think when things are going right, it's very easy to handle teammates. You can brush past a lot of different things, but when adversity strikes, a lot of times they're going to look to the quarterback and leaders and captains on the team. And so they talked a lot about that, and it's really, really applicable. And it was awesome to learn from those guys.
Could all of you guys address the question about the 0-2 start last year? How much motivation is that to get off quickly this year, and how much do you remember about all the heat you guys were taking after that 0-2 start?
Yeah, that's something we've kind of used this whole season, or this whole off season, as motivation to start faster. And we use it throughout workouts, throughout practice, pretty much everything, because that really put us in a hole. We did a great job responding to it, but we started out 1-3, and that didn't set us up for the season we wanted to have, and we were 7-6, which is not a very good record. And so definitely use us as motivation. We don't want to repeat it.
Yeah, we made it a statement to start fast, especially in practice. All off season, we changed up how we worked out. We changed up, there was a lot of adversity that came at us, especially with practice lately, making us run at random times in practice. And, that was just us. We weren't ready for that last year. It was a slow start, and we just thought we were going to walk in and, just take it away. But no, now, we got to play like it's our Super Bowl. And we understand that with how we've been working.
Tyler, you've been playing next to Jordan Thompson for a couple years now. You guys are kind of anchoring the defensive line and kind of the whole defense this year. Can you talk about what that relationship is like?
Yeah, me and Jordan are actually roommates right now. As soon as he got in, me and him got close. I started teaching him the defense and everything. But this offseason, Jordan's had an explosive camp. He's probably impressed me the most, and he just keeps working. It's a battle between who can work harder between me and him, And, I get him in some aspects and he gets me in the other, but we're constantly pushing each other, and that's what you need.
Godwin, Fitz said earlier that it's very difficult to game plan for Nevada because so much of their staff and setup is new. How do you kind of approach that from a secondary perspective?
Well, like you said, it's been very difficult. I think we're looking at some places the coaches have been at in prior, also looking at personnel they still do have, trying to catch some of the tendencies they have. When it comes down to it, at least on my end, being the vocal leader in terms of making play calls for the secondary and the defense as a whole, making sure my communication is A1. Kyle Cairo as well. I believe we're on the same page. We're going to dominate, but definitely a challenge, but a good challenge.
Justin, you've been a leader on this team as a captain now and a senior. Does your role change a little bit?
I guess a little bit. I think some guys will look up to certain guys just because they're captains, but I think we have so many leaders on this team, and I can, off the top of my head, name 4, 5, 6 other guys that deserve to be up here as well. So I think we're just trying to stay close, kind of, lead from the front and then bring everybody else with us. As a senior, it just means that, you have more urgency every single day because your days are numbered. Other than that, it's pretty much the same.
Godwin, Fitz talked about how Keith Watkins hasn't played in a game since Tennessee more than a year ago. Does that make it? Does that kind of absence make it tough for the secondary to try to get reacclimated to playing in a game with him?
Definitely not. I think with us, the camaraderie goes far beyond the field. Even the guys up here, great friends on and off the field. That's what makes this team special, in my opinion, even more so than past years. So just being a guy we're surrounded with all the time, we know Keith. I know Keith like the back of my hand, and he's a playmaker. If you guys have seen him in the past make plays, some bad things happen, but, it's like he never left. Watch camp, watch practice. We're all out there having fun. He's making plays, so, yeah.
Clayton, give us your thumbnail on the offensive line as it stands today. Your thoughts on what they've done to this point.
Yeah, they've gotten a lot better. I think their mental toughness is something that's really improved since last season. They've worked hard. Coach Hooten's really pushed them this offseason. It's been fun to watch. At the same time, you're like, man, these guys are getting killed out there because Coach Hooten's really working them hard. But it's starting to translate over the field, so it's great to see. Got a few new guys in there playing, as you guys saw. I got utmost confidence in those guys, and I think they're ready for the game.
Justin, you had 3 consecutive 1,000-yard years coming into this year. With all that success, what did you work on this offseason to try to get even better?
Trying to approach every single day, trying to be great, trying to get closer with my teammates, trying to be a better leader, and really trying to push us to start better and approach each week with a better mindset.
Else? All right. Thank you very much. Thank you, gentlemen.
Thank you. Appreciate it. Yeah.